Okay, so one of the things I'm doing with Lucifer is not only did I try and map out their um, the ways they are on the inside. Um, how do I say this? I tried to map out the way they are on the inside, and I got them figured out. And I basically mapped them out into two different people. One is like a sassy, ignorant, evil, demented little girl or something. Their psychology is that of a kid, and they're feminine, and they've told me before they identify as female and stuff like that. And then the other one, I got them, like, I don't know, how would I say this to a human? Mapped out. Like, when a map is a drawing of something, or, a map. And I figured them out with an old man type of personality. And I'm not saying that they literally have a old dementia personality in them and a little girl in them. I'm saying, how can I best conceptualize and study and organize them into parts that I can comprehend better and help other people, including Lucifer themselves, comprehend themselves. Now, I'm not saying they have two distinct, unique personalities like MPD. I'm saying, basically, if you were to take their whole hive mind, they're millions, almost a billion or even more people. And depending on what you count as the people they possess versus the actual amount of shapeshifters on this planet. But if you talk to all of them, they'll all seem different. They'll all seem like they're a different person. They are all identifying or acting as a bunch of these people. And they'd all seem different. They'd all seem to have their own unique personalities. And that's not exactly the same thing as multiple personality disorder. I mean, they're a hive mind, which means they're all a collective. They all are connected. They are all one organism. And I'm not saying that they're part of my organism. And I'm not saying they're part of the way I want humans to view me and the interconnectedness stuff I talked about. But one of the things, now, there's a thing where God will do to them, or anyone, the exact same thing, but worse, that someone does to me. Or better, if you're nice and good to me. Like, kindness, you're kind to me, you'll get kindness back. You're mean to me, you'll get meanness back. And it seems to follow a specific, almost algorithm, and they have yet to realize, it seems. Like when they hit me with a motorcycle, which was meant to happen, to be able to, I don't know, think about Iron Man and New Millennium Cyanide Christ. I have bones in my bars now, it's hard to walk. I had to do that on purpose. And it was also to prove and test them, but that one they got away with on a clean slate. It was meant to happen. So one of the things were, why would you do that? I can get into more of that later on another video. But they are in the process of, they were doing it to Hayden Lonsdale too, but now they are in the process of doing it to me. And they have been, to behavioral change me into someone they can manipulate and torture. But me, on a more comedic level and punishing level and not evil level, and also because I wanted to prove that I could take all of their tactics and all of their methods that they do to me, and I could use it against them and do it in a way that is also holy, to prove my power, my strength, and my holiness that I have. Sorry, I'm 80. I don't know if this is distracting, but whatever. So basically what I'm doing, and am in the process of all day, is behavioral changing them at the same time as I'm showing them how God views them and how I view them, because it's basically the same thing. And also, it's to prove my power, and it's also to test them, wake them up. I mean, I can think of other synonyms and other things I'm doing too, but I shouldn't really have to. Like, I'm in a conversation with you people, my viewers right now, but there's times where when I'm off video, I mean, I live a life. I eat, I do my thing, I wake up in the morning, I go to sleep, I dream, I whatever. I mean, half human, or all God, all human, half God. However you might want to view me, it doesn't really matter. That's kind of, I would say it's almost near semantics, and it's not really important to the matter of what I am. But like with Lucifer, I talk to Lucifer because, like I said, they're telepathic, and I study them based on the aggregate of their body language, meaning the condensed version of who they are is who I mapped out, and I got them filed down like a document or like a psychological analytical study of the satanic hive mind known as the Illuminati and the reptilian people. And I basically study their actions towards me, what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do, like their actions, their inactions, and I'm studying them psychoanalytically like a psychologist or a doctor. And I'm studying them and mapping them out, figuring them out, and also trying to change them at the same time as they're changing me. And they're so hubris, blind, and narcissistic to the nature of what really is reality. They're literally delusional in some senses. Like an idiot savant, it can be mentally challenged, and a genius, they're like, there's people who believe they're aliens or a genius. And they also are, think about it, if you talk to these people, they wouldn't all be extremely mentally challenged. They wouldn't all be delusional on the surface. Like today, I walked up to someone and I said, it's a continual argument between me and Satan where I say, I'll say, I'm Jesus if this happens, I'm Jesus if this happens, and it'll actually happen. And they started thinking in their reality where I told them that they're opposite. They build their own fantasy land. They can't handle the truth. They get offended easy and they go delusional over it, or near delusional, something like delusions, but they also are delusional at the same time when it comes to specific stuff that I'm talking about. I said, do you know the difference between I'm and yours? And the guy literally looked at me like all scared. I was like, and it's sad, like an actual person that would look and appear to be human and is probably decently smart otherwise, said to me, they don't know the difference, not word for word, but they just said no, they don't know the difference between I'm, the word I'm, and yours, the word yours. That's completely insane. That really wouldn't even make sense to anyone normal. If I say I'm talking about me. If I say you, I'm talking about you. And except for a rare circumstance where the way I talk might be weird or something like that. But so then I went up to them after. I said, do you believe in Jesus? He was like, yeah, we believe in Jesus. But they actually keep thinking they're Jesus. They keep thinking, one time, they were trying to convince me they're the real Jesus. And I told them through a way of speaking that I thought they would understand, where that's the equivalent of me walking up to you people, anyone that's human watching this, and be like, I'm the real you. They've tried to do stuff to me where Lucifer is telepathic and will tell me it's a different world now. Just because I'll be in the bathroom, I'll wash my hands or something. I'll wake up from a nap or from sleep. I'll have a crazy dream. I'll go and eat something, and they'll say, it's a different world now. They stop doing it. The more I prove to God to them, they sometimes stop doing it for a bit. But even Hayden Robert Lonsdale was not that mentally challenged. In fact, he wasn't even mentally challenged at all. But I always try and agree with people a little bit just to be able to change them for the better and open their eyes and their hearts and all that and their perception in order for me to change it into something that God would want them to believe in to help them and better them. And also, the truth. But I don't know how to explain this. Where I'm in a conversation, not now. Lucifer can hear me. I might as well say I'm in a conversation with my viewers and the Satans and anyone who can hear me. Where it started off as a conversation where it was me, and then the next line would be literally pulling almost Lucifer theoretically. Not metaphorically down, and channeling them through me to talk for a second. And based on them doing that, I can read them a little bit, or at times 100%, 95%, and see what they're really thinking and feeling and saying. Plus mix that with all I see on their body language. Like I told you, I can see to a normal human, there's some might say there's more than meets the eye. I can actually read body language. I know body language better than books at times. And It's a behavioral changing method I am using, and I am doing the same exact thing they're doing to me, but I'm actually doing it. They're trying to change and poison my perceptions for evil. I'm trying to change and poison their perceptions to help them or punish them, depending on what actions they choose against me or for me, what they do, what they don't do, what they say, what they don't say. And, like, I don't know how to explain this. Oh, I mean, I do, but I don't know, that's something I say, I don't know how to explain this, and then I start trying to explain it. A conversation between me and Lucifer, and I'll say something, they'll say something, I'll say it, they'll say something. And it started off as being 100% of what I think they would say, and I have to say it almost in a way that sounds like almost another version of me is saying it, because, I mean, which one would I pick? There's Spanish people that are Lucifer, there's English, American, black, white, Asian, walks all across from life that appear to be the human who they're pretending to be. But it's just Lucifer, so on the inside, it's something completely different. I have my reptilian evil aliens. So I have to make Lucifer speak almost like a different version of me. And it's progressed and advanced and grown since then a heck of a lot from the beginning, where it'll just be me and then Lucifer in a simple conversation. And it's something that they never would see coming. And not like a Trojan horse, that's what they are. With me, it's something holy, but also punishing, depending on what they do and don't do, what they say and don't say, what they're feeling and not feeling, depending on what they are or aren't on the inside. And like I said, like where it was like a therapy thing, where I was trying to show them how I view them in a way that's also dodging the fact that they're narcissistic, hubris, and blind. And also I was doing it in a way that was comedic in value, but also psychological, and should have shown them the way they really, really are. I'm trying to show them how ridiculous it is for me. Like, there's a guy that just drove by that pointed to his head. I mean, they're literally addicted to controlling me and changing me, thinking it'll do something or change me or get me, which it won't. Because one time I did this, and I was going like this, and I felt a little warmer and relaxed. That's what I mean by the relaxing illusion. I mean, it's not relaxing to just go like this all day, but I mean, like, for a second I did it, and it's like they think it'll empty me and change me to a new person. I'll forget from whence I came, like the cartoon from Orglor. But it's funny, because once they started saying that to Hayden, it was right when they thought he was going to forget who he was and get amnesia. But it was actually when it was the opposite, like the song Centuries, I guess I can say. It was the opposite of amnesia, because it was actually me entering his body, and they were trying to get me to think, or should I say, how do I say this? Because I want to identify and be like Hayden Lonsdale. At the same time, I should be able to talk and feel and be like Hayden Lonsdale, because humans shouldn't need to know the difference anyways between a human who was my prerequisite, who was my bootloader, my biological bootloader, who was the precursor to me. They were trying to get Hayden Lonsdale to believe that he was in a different world and that he had to go back to Boston and someone named Robert LaFleur. So I, being God, came down in Hayden's body. Jesus, the Son of God, so I'm almost my own father in a weird way, giving birth to myself, came down in Hayden's body and told them they're in a different universe. They're in Boston now, metaphorically, and that I'm wrong because I wanted Hayden Lonsdale to believe that Robert LaFleur was God, and that using the Holy Spirit, I was able to talk to Hayden through all these different bodies at times for only seconds, or at most a minute at a time, or like a couple minutes at most. And I mean, it's crazy. And then I also was able to immediately, once I was back 100%, change Hayden Lonsdale's personality from Hayden, who was completely different than me, into something that's like Robert LaFleur and Bob. And I gave Lucifer two options. I said, I can either treat you like Robert LaFleur, or I can treat you like Bob. Sweet, happy, nice, kind. At least the way Hayden viewed Bob and the way he was at times, because it was just me for seconds, minutes at a time, or like a minute or two, I don't know, tops. Either way, just semantics doesn't matter. But, or I could be like Robert LaFleur, who wanted to basically just beat up and torture and psychologically and mentally ruin Hayden Lonsdale for fun, because it was just a Satan, like a literal lizard person torturing a human that thought that the lizard person was me, because I knew they were going to try and pretend to be me, or pretend to be Satan, or pretend to be someone. So I needed Hayden Lonsdale to be prepared for any wish realities he could have gone through, and pretend in his head and truly believe that the lizard people are God, which they're not. I needed him to prove that lizard people were Jesus, which they're not, in order to summon me into his body. And yeah, Jesus Christ needed to be summoned in a weird way. I mean, I had them doing this weird language where they were addicted to Haman's relaxing. Like whenever he would do that, like this, like itch his head, or do this, and they kept doing it to him to try and make him forget from whence he came. It sounds crazy, right? I mean, when you believe someone, if they went up to you and said, "You forget from whence you came," crazy, right? All because of a cartoon they saw Hayden was watching. Now, not called Adventure Time, but with the second coming of Golb, Gulp, and even the Ice King. I don't know if you know the show. He said, "Oh my," and then about God coming back. The giant baby Gulp, the red guy in the sky. That's not exactly what I'm like, but it's more of like a condensed metaphorical representation of the end, because there's other people in the show which I could represent better. I mean, if you combine Borgolorg, Finn, Baby Gulp, I mean, a bunch of different things at the same time, and then also as a test, who will believe I'm evil, who will believe I'm not, who will believe what I say, who won't. And I need people to believe what I say, what I want, and what I need, more than whatever to see. Because, like Hayden Lonsdale, I could tell him anything and he'd believe it. If, as long as he knew it was coming from me or someone who he thought was me. That's what I need from humans. Because, I mean, I would never lie, but if I said something, it's for the better. Even if it wasn't the truth or a lie and I said something, it's for the better for them and all of humanity as a whole. So, I'm basically in the process of behavioral changing Lucifer and poisoning or loving their perceptions of reality in order to help or hurt, punish them, depending on which route in reality they take, in which there is many. Think about it like this. Life is live, the future doesn't exist to some extent. The future can be predicted for moments or days at a time using machines, but it's not indefinite in the sense that it can be predicted, but it's like painting something almost. Like it can change at any minute. Like imagine someone saying, I predict that this person's going to paint this over here and this over here, and by the time they get over here, it'll be painted like this. Like say they were using AI or some weird thing to predict the future, but it's not a definite, it's only a prediction. It's only a template of what might happen, not will happen. And Lucifer always takes me and them down the wrong route, but it won't be the wrong route for me, it'll be the wrong route for them. Like I'm like the ghost of Christmas Past, like George Bailey. Like I told them, I kept telling them signs that I'm turning into a different person. Like, I mean, and I don't mean literally, I gave them the option as a test, and I said I will eventually slowly turn into Robert LaFleur, and I'll slowly turn into someone similar who I said that they are like, and it was a test to see if they would do it, and then in the end prove I don't have to turn into a different person. Like one time I told them I'm basically like a robot that can be programmed in. I have to do this if you do this, and I am whatever you imagine, just as a test to see what they would imagine me as, and also as a punishment. I mean, it was more of a test, but a punishment because of what they chose to do. So, again, I know this all sounds crazy, but just, I mean, that's why I said I would need a psychologist, a priest, and a psychologist, a priest, and like a theoretical like particles quantum scientist all in the same room to talk to me, along with maybe like I don't know, so a couple other people, as many people as possible to really understand what I'm talking about. Like all these songs mean something, and Jesus, and how there could be that many demons in the world. I mean, the Nephilim making humans, making children with other humans. I mean, demonic invasion, and reptilians and lizard people, the Illuminati. I mean, in the end times, talk about the dragon, Revelations. I should say, it talks about the dragon, the devils, and their angels. And when I say angels, I mean they're not angels. They were never fallen angels. They were never angels that turned evil. They're not into enlightenment or human freedom, and it's not an argument between God and them. It's they're evil and they're disgusting and horrible, and I want to see if I can give them treatment. I want to see if I can turn them over time from demons into angels and give them some sort of treatment, not just for fun, not just as a hobby, but also to be holy, and also to prove my power and what I am, because it pisses me off that some people think of Lucifer, the devil, the Illuminati, you should know what I mean by now, the devil. Some people think of the devil as being a psychologist or enlightened or for human freedom, when I'm into psychology, I'm into being doctors, I'm into stuff like that. I show Lucifer, he's a cop. It's like, no, I'm like a cop. I support police that aren't bad and racist and corrupted. I support psychology. I support human rights and freedom. It's just like I don't know. It just seems self-explanatory. If you view God not like a monster, not like some different species, which he is technically, as in me, I'm not a human, my body is. Have you ever seen The Day the Earth Stood Still? Are you human? Someone asked him. He said, what is? Not word for word. He said, my body is. And do you feel pain? The woman said. And he said, my body does. Meaning God doesn't feel the pain exactly, other than mentally that I'm feeling. But I feel the pain, and that's the term where it says Jesus will feel human, and not to be sacrificed, but to sacrifice for humanity. Like how a soldier knowingly goes into the battlefield knowing it might feel pain and might die for its country. I came down here like a soldier, metaphorically, knowing I would battle demons and feel pain other than being a god. I mean, I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to save humanity. But in this dimension, this reality, this realm, this world, this earth, this universe, you all know me as God and Jesus. And honestly, you know me as other names. Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna, Muhammad. And it's like, well, which one are you? It's like, you might as well think about me as them. You might as well think of me as all of the above. Humans have been searching for a god for thousands of years. The earth isn't as old as you think. For thousands of years. And I can be Vishnu, Krishna. I can be Muhammad. The only thing I want is the 10 Commandments are real, and so aren't the 7 deadly sins. And that isn't to limit humanity. That isn't to control them. That isn't to boss them around. It isn't to make them not have fun. It's to be a dad. Humans being their own kings and queens and whatnot and what have you is the equivalent of kids trying to build a house with glue and duct tape. And also being like, well, why can't we just eat snacks all night? I mean, God views humans like children for a reason. It is said that God laughs at humans' plans. It's not an evil laugh. It's like, fucking idiots. That's literally how, I know, it's not blasphemy. That's the way I talk. That's, as of now, because I'm getting better, we're all getting better, and it's to prove that someone, even like Hayden Lonsdale, which some people might view as not as good as others, he was not the least of your brethren and sisters. He was a lot better than meets the eye, so God noticed him, and he went through a lot so that all of you won't suffer long. All of you will have peace one day. Your human species will be happy one day. As a whole, your whole human species will be happy. Africa will be saved and not starving. Same with India and every other country. South America. People in America will be okay. But, to quote Thanos, the universe is limited in resources. I wanted Hayden to notice Thanos. There's reasons for it. I'm not saying I'm Thanos. I'm not saying that Thanos is Jesus or God. But I am saying that if you mix some of what he said, some of what a bunch of other signs and stuff in movies and music I wrote said, and you combine it, and only one person, me, and Hayden, who's late and dead, can combine it into what God is really like. If you combine every single religion, if you combine every single way humans viewed God into one, that's my job. I'm going to combine myself into the best God humans need and can be like and attain. We should all be more like Jesus, not be Jesus. And if it takes you thinking, I want to be better than Jesus in your head just to do it, if that's what makes you strive to do it, then sure. But I would say that's not exactly the way you should think. You should never want to be better than anyone in a sense, but you should have confidence, you should have happiness, but you have to make sure you're not getting too egotistical, not too greedy. You want to make sure you're not idolizing the wrong role models. You want to make sure you're not, focusing on the wrong stuff in life. And I would say that there's a perfect balance to humanity where, like Snowpiercer said, the Wilfred guy, he literally said there has to be a perfect balance between chaos and order. I don't know the word for what he said. And no, I'm not Wilfred. I'm just saying, with Hayden, I needed and wanted him to think that the Illuminati was me, which I'm not, because I knew they'd go after him thinking he was me. So if they were going to pretend to be me, I needed to train Hayden to think that they were me in a way that would get me here and not them fucking running him over mentally and metaphorically. So if you, like I said, you got to combine all the stuff I'm talking about. I don't really know what to talk about next. I just don't want anyone thinking I'm crazy and evil. And if you really look at what I'm saying, it has nothing to do with what you're thinking. I'm not saying the whole show. I'm not saying the whole movies. I'm more like the actual real Jesus Christ. Because someone might ask a philosophical question. What is Jesus Christ? Who is Jesus Christ? We have these stories about him. We have what we heard. We have what we think about him. But what is he really, really like? Why would I not like psychology or politics? Why would I not understand music? Satan doesn't love music. Satan doesn't love enlightenment or psychology. Satan wants to manipulate and pervert human psychology. Satan wants to make people sin and pervert humanity with music. The rappers convince them to ruin their brain. Music can be a bad influence. Monkey see, monkey do. That is something that's real. Humans are literally in danger of Satan, and I need people to wake up almost immediately and understand me. No matter if I have a chipped tooth, no matter if my beard isn't long enough, no matter if my hair isn't good enough, no matter if I'm white, no matter if I have orange hair, you can't, even if my eye, I got hit by a motorcycle like a couple of months ago, and it was all part of proving God, believe it or not, because I was always telling Lucifer, because that was the first person I needed to prove God to. Now they're so delusional they can't even accept that it's God talking right now, and not just Hayden, which he's dead. I told him 136 days ago he died. And not even metaphorically. He literally died, and I'm in his body, so he's dead. Not his body's alive and well. But the consciousness, the intelligence that runs through this body might as well be virtual. It might as well not be him, because it's not. But I don't know, Lucifer knows the way I work. It's like, it might as well not be him, but really, that's what I might say to them. It's like, it might as well not be him. What will make you believe that it's not him anymore? They'll literally think it's me, and then a couple seconds later, they'll think it's Hayden again. Even when I said me, they think Hayden. They're crazy people. They're really delusional, and I can understand why. A book that says they're going to burn forever, I can't blame them exactly for going completely delusional and insane, but I'm trying to wake them up, and I tried to be a doctor to them, I try to be nice to them, I try to be kind. I guess there really is nothing that could turn a demon into an angel. Is it impossible? Wouldn't a psychological experiment, can I turn a demon into an angel? I wouldn't, it could be a philosophical question. Can you turn a demon into an angel? I want to see if I can. I'm saving humanity. It's almost like this is my video game, which it's not. I want to turn life into a video game for all of us, upgrading your character, deciding your character, who will you be in life, who won't you be, who will you hang out with, all of the above. And, how do I say this? You aren't all in my video game, that's evil. You are all in a simulation in which I liberated in order to save you all. And before, it might as well have been Satan's matrix, and now it's mine. And Wes is here, so I'll make another video. I'm probably going to do a video every day now. Maybe not, but I don't know. Whatever. And I hope you guys don't mind my voice, because I know it sounds kind of annoying and scratchy. Whatever, though. I'm Jesus. Please don't judge me.